Alpha Arcade is a prediction market built on the Algorand blockchain. But did you know you can make money on it without even making any predictions? We are going to do a review of Alpha Arcade on today's Frugal BC. By the way, guys, if you like this stuff, please hit that like and subscribe button. Now remember, you don't have to smash it. You can actually just press it gently and it works just fine that way too. Channel members got an early look at our Alpha Arcade experiment, so you should definitely check out our community tab. We got a great little community going on in there. It's really fun and it's cool to have everyone in it like that, so definitely go check that out. And as always, we are brought to you by non-fungible domains. That's right, for that .algo address that makes doing everything in Algorand so much easier. You need to have non-fungible domains. That's your ticket, man, let me tell you. So check them out. They got vaults, segments, all that great stuff, non-fungible domains. And we are brought to you by Marcus Aurelius, an NFT and meme coin on the Algorand blockchain, and they are spreading the words of Stoicism. They just released a new Stoicism video today, cartoon, and they're doing all kinds of really cool stuff. I'm just a big fan of this project, so go check them out. Marcus Aurelius in the description below. But enough about all that. Let's get to today's review. And I want to start doing more reviews again. This is an important part of the channel's ethos, is that we don't just like guess if something works. We actually try things out and we give you the full story, good, bad, everything in between. So you don't get any fluff from me. It was one of my biggest frustrations in crypto, is when I would watch this video about how great something was, and it turns out there's like 10 things they didn't tell you that make it really, really challenging. So I'm going to show you my results. I just put some money in. It's what I do. I just put some money in. I try these things out and I see how they go. So this is Alpha Arcade. These are what the markets look like. You can see there's like plenty of things to do. I'm a little zoomed in on here and I'm going to leave it that because it makes it, well, actually, hold on. No, I'm not. All right, so this is Alpha Arcade and you can see plenty of things to make predictions on. Now, I don't know how familiar you are with prediction markets, but they actually work better than polls because they allow you to put money into a bet like this. So it's not just like, yeah, I think this is going to happen. You actually have to put money behind it, which means your conviction has to be a little bit higher than just like answering a poll question. And that's why I think they work better than polls. They've just been more predictive. They predicted Trump's win when the polls were saying it was going to be really, really close, for example, and they've just been a really powerful tool to make predictions on. They're not always right, but they tend to be a lot more right than other things. Now, I will say, just from I'm not going to spend most of my video on the prediction side itself. You can see here they have different categories to check out. Everything from crypto stuff to sports to, politics and everything in between. But I want to stay more on the ROI side, because there's actually a back channel to earn money from this platform without actually making predictions at all. Now, one thing I want to say about the Alpha Arcade market is it's made by the same team as Lofty AI, the real estate platform. Now, I've had my issues with Lofty. I've told you about them numerous times. But one thing I want to say about them is they're one of the few projects built on Algorand that are actually profitable. One of the big ones that are actually profitable. They're not taking a ton of foundation money. They're actually making money. Like that's a surprisingly rare thing in the crypto universe. So that gives me more hope that this thing is going to stick around a while. So I'm not going to get into the nuts and bolts about how the prediction market works, because I want to tell you something else, and I should have kept this up. That's the alpha token itself. I'm a big fan of saying that, most projects probably don't need a token, but this is one of the interesting ones because this is almost like buying stock in the company. Now, what do I mean? Well, what I mean is if you hold the alpha token, you get a percentage of the monthly profits. What it says right here, finally, 40% of the monthly profit will be distributed to all holders of alpha token pro rata to their ownership. You do not have to stake or lock up your alpha in order to qualify for the rewards. And that is 100% true, by the way. And we're going to get into that because I've made an experiment on this, but that is 100% true. You don't have to hold, or you don't have to lock up or stake or anything. I really like that. Algorand Casino, which just shut down, was kind of like this, except you had to, every week you had to basically stake I don't know if it was staking exactly, but you had to you had to do something every week. This one, it's buy it and forget it, which I think is just a smarter way to do it. Don't make me jump through all these hoops every week, and this is, so you're just getting a cut of the profits, this is pretty cool. I mean, this is the kind of thing I think we got into crypto for, is this sort of democratization of ownership where you can own a piece of the pie and make bank. And wouldn't it be nice if you could do that for some of the bigger platforms? I hope we see more of that in the future. So basically, yeah, as long as you hold the tokens, you will receive rewards, which is awesome. Now, how did that go? Well, I'm going to show you. I've been keeping track of it. So I've actually been doing this since March, and I started off with only $10 worth, and then I upped it to 100 in May. So really the first full month, and why I think I can do this now, was in June. So this is these results are the full month of June. Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 payments. So not quite every 3 days on average, probably more like 4 days, I would say, close to that. Yeah, actually it'd be closer to probably even a little less than that. You can see, like, yeah, I got one on the 3rd, then the 9th, and the 13th. So they're not like super consistent in terms of when the payouts come. And you can notice they've been getting a little higher, but also a little more spread out in July. So we'll see how that goes. We'll probably do a follow-up video maybe for channel members. By the way, like I said, channel members got a couple of videos on this experiment for going quite a ways back. So you definitely want to, if you're interested in this stuff and you want to follow along, that is definitely an option you probably want to check out. But this is the real number. So the average payout was just a little over 2 cents for, like I said, $100 that I threw in there. And that translated to about 5 cents per day. So I did the calculations, what is that term in terms of APR? That's about a 1.8% ROI. So, that's not great in terms of, like, when you look at even from traditional finance, like 1.8% isn't very good. I've been getting 4% on my Wealthfront account, cash account, and there's no volatility to worry about. I don't have to worry about the underlying price of the token going down, although we will have a caveat on that in a second that we'll get to. But really, 1.8% is not great, and I was hoping it would be a little higher. When you're buying equity in a company, you would expect something higher than 1.8%, probably because, like I said, it's only 40% of the profits that are being, well, I guess, that's quite a bit, but it's an interesting way to approach it anyway. And it does give community ownership, but also, like, I'd like to see that maybe be a little higher. Now, one of the things I liked about this that I think deserves talking about, however, is this is the 2-hour chart. Let me go to the daily chart. I think it shows up best. So this is the whole length since it started back in February. And that is a crazy, from here to here especially, it was behaving almost like a stable coin. It was practically pegged to this about 0.4 cents, 0.4 of a cent there about. Now we're back up to about half a cent. And by the way, I bought a whole bunch. You can actually see well, no, I don't know what those dots are. I take it back. Yeah, there's other ones. Yeah, this right here, I mean, I think I actually bought the 100 or the amount needed to get to 100 right around here. It's actually about $97 worth right now. So it's actually a little bit down. I must have really hit a candle when I bought it. Most of it I bought somewhere, what was it? March, I think I said, somewhere around here. So, but that is a really stable chart. And this is with Algorand ASAs, you do not see this kind of stability. Caveat, Tiny had a pretty stable structure for a while too. And I've kind of talked about my experiments on that. It had a pretty stable structure. Now it's been kind of decreasing. So it's something to keep in mind. And then the other thing I want to point out on this, like I said, this is about 1.8% ROI, but that's only for June. That's right now. So you can imagine if this platform grows, maybe in 5 years, this will be 18% instead of 1.8. I mean, that's not impossible. It's totally possible that if the market grows, and it seems to be growing because, like, these payouts have been increasing, and especially in July, these payouts have been much higher than they had been previously. Because even this was like 6 days and it was like 0.2%, and this was 6 days and it's 0.04 cents. So that's almost double. That's like more like 4%. Now it's getting like close to my cash account. Generally speaking, I'm going to call that the floor, because I want to be doing better than I can in just a simple cash account. By the way, not the only option for that. There's also Folks Finance, which currently paying about 5.76% for deposited USDC. So, like I said, I think it's okay to be skeptical of this number. While I definitely support the idea of it, I think it's a really good idea overall. And so, That's very interesting though. Yeah, so bottom line, I mean, I think it works really well. It's simple. There's almost nothing you have to do. I like the simplicity of it. ROI could be a little bit better. By the way, I don't know if I said this, but you get paid out in US dollar coins. You don't get paid in more alpha. Now you could turn around, take that USDC and put it into alpha so that your alpha grew if you wanted to, but I do like that it's just paid up straight up in USDC. I think that's a great way to do it, and it makes it really easy to track how much you've earned, because otherwise I'd have to, and I do this on my Tiny, I have to track how much that Tiny that I get is worth every day so that I can give like a reasonable ROI. So bottom line, it's like everything is basically, all the bones are set up perfectly. It just needs to make more to be really worth it, in my opinion. Like I wouldn't put a large amount in this just to make 1.8% ROI. Like there's so many better options in crypto, but I do have hope for the future that, and we'll follow up maybe in 3 months or 6 months. Channel members will get like this on a almost bi-weekly basis. We'll go through our portfolio, through our experiments, and you just kind of get a snapshot of all of that stuff for the level 2 tier. So be sure to check that out. Otherwise, you know, like I said, I'll probably follow up in this in a few months, maybe 6 months. But that's it. That's our experiment. And I hope you enjoyed this. I think it's always interesting to look at this stuff and really just crunch the numbers and find out, is it working for you? How is it working? And, you know, are there better options? I think probably right now, if you just wanted pure ROI, there are. But I also like the idea of this prediction market, and I think it's set up well. People seem to be enjoying it. I found it like a little bit confusing, but I'm also not familiar with prediction markets, so I don't know how much of it is just me not understanding prediction markets and how they're supposed to work, other than like the basics of, you know, I understand it at a very basic level, but I haven't like used Polymarket or anything myself. So, all right, well, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm FrugalBC. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the future.